Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Who cares about time? 'Tis but a fabric sold to us by the bourgeoisie to make us feel indecent, but we're not here to discuss that. We're the Fruitball Cast. I'm Pear, and I'm joined by Spherno.
Hello?
And as you can see by the big words written on the screen, we're going to be looking at the Melee bracket for the Asian region.
This is our predictions video for the week, but we're doing it a little bit differently because of the new tournament starting, and we're going to go through Pear's bracket probably, and then my bracket, and see whose bracket's better.
Indeed. Well, it will obviously be mine, as there is no contestant to that. So we're going to start off, I presume, with the Spark versus the Dynasty. The Dynasty are the lowest seeding in this tournament. And what people are going to do is looking at the heroes and the players they have. The Dynasty, everyone's going to say they're going to go through, but I thrive off controversy, so I'm going to say the Spark are going to go through.
Controversy, alright. So Spark against the Dynasty. So now let's move down to Excelsior versus the Hunters. Who do you think's going to win there?
The Hunters looked a lot better last week,
Agreed.
but are they really Excelsior level? It is an interesting question. It makes me think of the time I was being chased down by bears in my childhood, and I had to wonder what was important to me. At the end of the day, I came to the decision, very much like I do now, that New York are going to win.
Alright, that's one team in the semifinals, and we've got our third match of the Asian region. Dragons versus Spitfire.
I don't know what words I'm saying. I don't need any elaborate or eloquent language to say the Dragons are going to roll over London.
Thank you. They did before too, so kind of obvious. But you notice how they call it the quarterfinals, even though it should be the trio finals because there's only 3 matches?
Well, if the Titans had stuck around.
Yeah, they quit. It's their fault.
Yeah.
All right.
Can't blame them, to be honest.
So let's move on to the semifinals. This is going to determine who the final game.
Charging Dragons, move on.
Okay. Well, Charging Dragons then.
I don't care if you are petty etiquette. They are objectively the 2 best teams in the region, I'm thinking at the moment. And then the Charge versus the Dragon. It's a peculiar little puzzle, this one. It tickles my thinking bone, but I think at the end of it, the Dragons will emerge victorious.
All right. So this is a really interesting bracket, just because.
That's one word for it.
Oh yeah, because mine I think is relatively the same, with the exception of like 2 games that I'm gonna get into. But overall, a really interesting bracket. I think you're going with the popular opinion that the Dragons are just gonna roll everybody that they go against. But do you think the game against the Charge and the Dragons will be close?
It'll be close, but I think Dragons will win 3-1. So you can quote me on that one.
I'm gonna quote you. I'm actually writing it down with quotation marks around it. You can hear me. I got paper, pencil.
This is what comedy has devolved to now, ladies and gentlemen.
I've got it. I'm quoting you. You're quoted. All right, now it's my turn. I'm going to tackle my Malay Asian region bracket.
Did you say Malay?
Yeah, it's Malay. It's Malay, either way. It's
Melee, not Malay.
No, it's been pronounced both ways.
Malay is when you can't locate the position of your lane. Like, I cannot find Malay. Melee is a fist-to-fist battle. Mano a mano. And speaking of mano, he plays the MYXL. Beautiful segue. Now go.
Okay. So for quarterfinals, I do think the Spark are going to win just because they recently signed Architect, and the only thing that was really weakening the Spark as a team was their lack of a good flex DPS to go along with Godsby. But now that they've solved that issue, I mean, let's be honest, Architect is probably as good as, if not at the same level as HANGZHOU. So either one going over to the Spark would have been a godsend, and that's exactly what they needed. So my semifinals, Charge versus Spark for the first round. Going into the second round of quarterfinals, I'm going with the New York Excelsior just because, like, I mean, they beat the Hunters a couple of times before this. I just don't think the Hunters have it in them to come back any stronger than they already have. And the Dragons against the Spitfire because, again, like, Dragons, Excelsior, two of your best teams in the league, or in the region, aside from, obviously, the Guangzhou Charge.
Well, I find funny, if you'd have said the Dragons will beat the Spitfire in Season 1,
everybody would have thought I was crazy.
Versus the worst. Now, you're appearing sensible. And I'm quite worried, because if you're appearing sensible, what am I appearing as?
Just as sensible? Because we picked the same things. We picked the same things!
Yes, but I'm an idiot!
Well, then that just makes me look like an idiot.
Exactly. I can't beat you, but drag you down to my level.
My next pick is going to be extremely controversial. Probably.
Oh god, the HANGZHOU Sport will not win this.
I'm picking the Spark to win the semifinals.
How could you? How?
Because,
how could you betray me like this, Spherno?
The HANGZHOU Spark are not a bad team. Their only weakness was Adora and Bazi. They didn't have a strong support, or a strong DPS to back up Godsby. And Architect and Godsby are both players that are really good at working without a lot of resources, whereas Happy and Eileen, who are like your guaranteed starting DPS for the charge, need a lot of resources to be effective. And I think the Spark have that edge of being able to play more spread out and play more complicated things because Architect and Godsby are so independent when they play. So I just think the Spark have the edge in this fight just because of Architect. Like, I think Architect is that... It's just like when Punk showed up for the Boston Uprising, you know? We didn't think that they were going to do all that much, but Punk seems to be like a missing piece. And even though Boston aren't going to win it all in the end, like, they're still playing better than they were before. Sometimes one player is all you need.
I just think the Charge are going to work better as a unit. Sashin and Rhea just aren't good enough at off-tank. I think
that's fair.
Charge are going to obliterate in the tank, obliterate in the support. So you're going to tell me Bebe is going to do anything? No, you're off. You're off. You're mad. You've lost it, pal.
It's like I said, it was a controversial pick. I admitted it when I started. But for the semifinals, Excelsior versus Dragons, the Dragons are the only team that could possibly take that because the Excelsior just aren't at their level yet. And for the final, I think the Dragons are going to win against the Spark because for as much as I love the Spark and for as far as I think they're going to go, the Dragons are still better in every single possible way.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, Drag's just looking good.
Yeah. But I don't think there's much else to talk about with the Asian region tournament. And we both have the Dragons going all the way. The only real difference that you and I see with this is the Spark versus Charge game. The Dynasty we just don't think is going to be up to snuff. But I do want to pose a question since we still have a little bit of time to talk about this tournament. What if the meta is double shield? Do you think the Dynasty get the edge over the Spark?
Yes. Dynasty go double shield, that's it.
Yeah, Dynasty are really good at double shield. Maybe the Spark have a chance of fighting back if it's double shield, but the Dynasty... I watched Plat Chat the other day, and Mr. X said it the best. He said, the Seoul Dynasty are like a bad CD. There's like one good song, and that's the only song that they play well, and for the Dynasty, it's double shield.
They are double shield players, primarily.
Yeah, that is true. So there is a world where, depending on the meta, the Dynasty do take the quarterfinals and completely mess up our entire bracket, or at least the top part of that bracket. But in the realistic world, the Spark probably take it like 9 times out of 10.
Agreed. Soldiers aren't looking good at the moment.
I think that's the only really outlier of a match that I can think of. Like, Excelsior and Dragons are probably going to take their matches no matter what happens or what meta is. Unless it's like dive, I could see the Hunters maybe putting up a fight because they're like dive specialists in some ways. But even then, the Excelsior are just too flexible for them.
Agreed. NYXL just have a little bit more depth than the Hunters. The Hunters could do something, but I just don't think they'll do it 3 times.
Yeah, completely agreed. So that is going to be the May Melee Tournament Asian Region Prediction Bracket brought to you by the Football Cast. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoy it, obviously subscribe, like, comment. We love having conversations with you guys down in the comments, or at least I do. I don't know if you've ever responded to comments.
I've responded on my Pear account.
Oh, okay. You've responded on your personal account, but I do tend to respond with the official Fruit Bowl account, and I love holding conversations with you guys. So let me know what you guys think of our brackets down below, if you guys agree with them or not. And do we want to pose an interesting question or conversation topic for them to answer down there, or just talk about the tournament?
Who is the worst team in the league?
Okay, let's narrow that down to the Asian region. Who's the worst team in the Asian region?
And why is it the Spitfire?
I don't think it's the Spitfire, but I mean, some people
the
might.
Dragons. And...
Oh, whatever. You're a fanboy of something. I don't know what. You're.
That's probably the weakest insult I've ever been given.
Can you tell I'm not trying right now? But thank you guys so much for watching. I have been Pear, and wait, I've not been Pear. I've been Spherno.
This has been Spherno.
Yeah, I've been Pear. That's been Spherno. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.